The dictionary defines unbroken simply as not broken, fractured, or damaged. But here, in the context of this YouTube channel, unbroken means something a little different. You see, to get our definition of unbroken, we have to add two words to this definition. Unbroken is not broken despite being fractured or damaged. This is going to be the most important video that I've ever made, but before I can get into why, I need to introduce you guys to someone. You see that old guy right there? That's my dad, and he was the inspiration behind me starting Unbroken. You see, in 2017, my family got some of the worst news that a family can get, that one of our loved ones, my father, was diagnosed with cancer. I remember the day I found out like it was yesterday. At the time, I was still living with my parents at home. I wasn't even engaged to Taylor yet at this point, but they always had a date night on Tuesday nights, and they had only been gone like half an hour and they were back. So I automatically knew that something was wrong. And then they walked in and I saw my mother, and she was crying. She was a sobbing mess. And I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, what's going on?" And he looked at me and said the three most terrifying words I've ever heard in my life. He said, "I have cancer." I can't describe the feelings that were all present at that point when I heard that news, and I honestly wouldn't wish this sort of thing on my worst enemy. But I remember I was just in complete denial at the outset that what I heard was even true. And then when it set in and I realized that indeed my dad had cancer, that I was gripped with this heart-wrenching sadness and this blood-curdling fear, and I really just didn't know what to do. So I went upstairs to my room, I sat against my bed, and I cried. And what seemed to follow that event was this endless stream of bad news. I mean, it was surgery after bad test results, after radiation, and this went on for 4.5 years. And there were some times that it really did just seem hopeless. But that's where this story gets good. You see, despite the seemingly endless barrage of bad news, the one thing I never saw my dad do was quit. He woke up every single day for 4.5 years straight, swinging with everything he had. And yes, some days the punches may not have been as devastating as others, but the fact remains that he never stopped fighting. He woke up every single Sunday to preach the gospel and was never more than a phone call away if we ever needed anything. I watched my dad go through hell on earth for 4.5 years straight. Yes, he was bruised and beaten. Yes, he was fractured and damaged, but he was never broken. You know, fathers are a son's first role model and first hero. To a young child, there's nothing their father can't do. They're literal superheroes. But I can say with full confidence that even at 26 years old, my dad is still my role model and he is still my hero. Because despite circumstances, despite having every reason and chance to give up, he never did. He stayed unbroken. The last 2 weeks have been some of the most mentally stressful days of my life, and there were moments when I considered giving up. Quitting YouTube, quitting school. I'm grateful that I didn't, but what I'm more grateful for is the environment of reflection that those hardships created, because I was reminded of the inspiration behind Unbroken and why it's so important to me that I stay unbroken. It's important that I stay unbroken for me, but more importantly, I do it for him. The best father and role model that a kid could ask for. The one who showed me what it truly means to be unbroken. I do it for them, the most wonderful family members that I could ever ask for. A family that's always there for me in times of need. I do it for them, the greatest group of friends that a guy could have. Friends that have my best interest at heart and would help me with anything that I ask them to help me with. I do it for her, the love of my life, the mother of my child, and my partner in crime. But probably most important of all, I do it for her. Because if at the end of my life, My daughter can see me the same way I see my dad, and can say that no matter what the circumstances were, and no matter what the world threw at him, that her dad stayed unbroken, then I can die knowing that I did my best and knowing I set a good example for my little girl and taught her to be everything that she can be. And that is why I do this. Because Unbroken is my life's work. It's my life's motto, and it is the summation of my life's vision, mission, and values. And no matter what happens to this YouTube channel, no matter what happens to the brand, I will always stay unbroken. That's it for this week's vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next week. Do something nice for someone today, but most importantly, stay unbroken.